Fight against
Is this
life.
going to end with you disgracing pies again?
I like pies just fine. The idea that that is a better food than cake is just what peasants
Hair
think.
pie?
Peasants like you.
Okay.
All right.
That was an 80s reference.
There is no big super duper fight this weekend. I'm sure going to be some. Check out Grabaka Hitman on Twitter. I'm sure he'll have something for you. But there's no real big Bellator. There's no real big UFC. There's no real big boxing fight that I'm aware of, right, Brian Campbell? But it is Thanksgiving on Thursday, which got me to thinking, Brian, now that the Thanksgiving holiday is upon us, the year is drawing to a close. People are incorrectly assuming that the decade is coming to a close, even though it's not till 2020.
Well, it kind of is.
It's not.
I mean, is the year 1980 part of the 70s? No, Luke. So let's wake up to that, all right?
It's not
I know
part of
you
the
tried to
70s,
do
but
this I'm smarter than you thing on Twitter.
It's just math, bro. It's just math. There's no year zero. You start at 1, it goes to 10.
It goes 0 to 9. That's how it goes.
That means then the first decade was not a decade, so that doesn't make any sense. If a decade is 10 years and there's no year zero, just do the math. Anyway, the point being is this. I would like to ask you, what are you grateful, what are you thankful for here in the year of our Lord 2019?
I am thankful that combat sports is back, and particularly boxing. And when I say back, I mean promoted, pushed, and accepted on a mainstream level. Luke, there was a time, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago. I remember, I think it was 2011 and 12, and there was like 12 pay-per-views that year. To be a boxing fan, you had to have multi-premium cable subscriptions, and there was all these flights flown to pay-per-view that didn't belong there. It was, to be a boxing fan, you had to be a part of this secret club in which it cost a lot of money to get in, and more often than not, you didn't get what you paid for. And right now, boxing is being pushed to the forefront. And it's on Fox and ESPN. It's also on Showtime. The Zone's popping in and throwing a ton of money around, and it's bringing health to the sport. Simultaneously, God, UFC has an ESPN contract. We never would have, guessed that at a certain point a long time ago. And it's so mainstream that it's blowing up, and it's financially friendly. I get to do projects like this, and it's great. I can pay off absorbent kids' travel soccer fees. But it also gets to do things like this. Companies are getting to invest in a fresh, new, fun show like this, where we can just come out here and peel the skin off the onion and just cry and let it bleed and just say it like it is. No cringe, no protection, no nothing, okay? Raw dog style. No, we'll edit that part out after. That was really gross. But you get what I'm saying. I'm
you
thankful.
Are gross.
I mean, look, sometimes as boxing and even MMA fans, we get to, it's like, we love our sports. We don't want Jalen Rose going on ESPN and saying Canelo should fight Lomachenko, which is something that happened, by the way. But sometimes that's a necessary evil, to have your sports be healthy. And I've gone a long time as a boxing fan when the sport wasn't healthy. And I've gone a long time as an MMA fan and journalist as there's been some peaks and valleys. I'm thankful that you and I get to sit here right now.
Yep.
I'm thankful that a-hole Jay is in my ear a lot.
Fuck Jay.
I'm thankful for these people sitting back here putting up with my really inappropriate jokes. I'm thankful for this bomb shelter somewhere in the swamps of Jersey. I'm just a thankful person. We got fights every weekend that matter. We got big events. We got crossover things going on. The sports are healthy right now. My wallet is fat. That's been the first time ever, Luke, okay?
Well, here's
I'm cashing checks left and right, all right?
I'm happy to see that. It's a long time coming. And I'm glad to see that you're finally getting what I think you've long deserved. I would say what I'm thankful for is, first, it's funny. We used to talk about, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, so let's say 2014-ish, when the UFC was like overwhelmingly doing shows. They did 7 shows in Brazil that year. That's when they went to a place in Brazil, a true story, called Uberlandia. Remember that? And you're like, what is going on? There's this glut of content. You're like, there was a lot of content, but it kind of felt like the golden age was the age of the Matt Hugheses and the Liddells and the Coutures, and a little bit later the Lesnars. That little spot from let's say 05 to 09, right, post-Ultimate Fighter to the end of Brock Lesnar, that felt like the golden era. That felt like when MMA was just so hot and everyone was talking about it. And I don't know that we'll recapture that moment where every month MMA just seemed to grow and grow and grow and grow. That was unique. But what I will say now is, I don't think that was the golden age. That was the golden age of becoming. Now is the golden age. Dude, over the weekend, you could have watched in Korea a brilliant jiu-jitsu tournament on Flow Grappling if you wanted to, or Fight to Win Pro. Davi Hamosh from UFC had a match against Gary Tonin. If you want to watch K1, that was over the weekend. If you want to watch Lightweight Burmese kickboxing, you could have done that. There was Ortiz versus Wilder. There was Bellator overseas. There was USA Wrestling as well.
DAZN had 2 boxing cards on Saturday from separate countries.
I mean, it's incredible. If you love combat sports, if you love it when a guy goes mano a mano, or ladies, with another competitor, this is the time to be alive. And you can get it whether it's in Myanmar, whether it's in Canada, whether it's in your backyard, whether it's pay-per-view or whatever. Streaming has really
North
enabled.
Kakalaka and Compton, right?
And it could be at any time. Plus now, one of the things that's great about like LFA, they went over to Fight Pass, which I think I always worry about, the UFC sort of controlling the regional scene a little bit. On the other hand, they put the entire library of LFA already on there. So for a guy like me, I can go back and trace somebody's developmental steps, like just things like this.
Just real quick, you don't care, but the same thing's happening in pro wrestling, and we're going through a boom period right now.
I have heard.
Because of access for the same reason.
And so it all, to your credit and to your point, it all fits together in the same point. Dude, if you like that kind of stuff, now is the time to be a fan. You can get everything, it seems like, at your fingertips. There's a bit of a cost to it and some sort of technological barriers, I get. I just can't think of a time in my life where if you want to watch K1, you had to go get the old weird, not streams, but I forget the terminology now from forums, and they had to read like weird magazines printed by Calvin Ayre from
laptop
Bodog.
would get STDs.
Yeah, it was just, now you can get all of that stuff so easily, so effortlessly. It's a great time to be a combat sports fan. That's the first. The second one I would say is, I realize we're kissing up to our bosses here, but the reality is, dude, we are insanely lucky to have this job. Now, granted, they have held us capture in Guantanamo Bay here for the last 6 or 7 months, so that part has sucked. But I will say this. I'm 40 now, and I have finally arranged.
Man, come after you.
I know. I have finally arranged a moment in my life, or among my radio show, my personal YouTube channel, and now this. I get to say whatever I want for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, which is simply unheard of in combat sports, where everything is incestuous and everybody has to keep quiet about everybody else. And I don't know that I always uphold the ideals that I think I should. I'm certainly an imperfect person in that regard. But you know this too, man. This is a sport where the reason we can thrive by just having that as a feature is because it is so rare. It is so rare to have opportunities like this. I can tell you many times, we go to the boss and we're like, we want to talk about this. Is this okay? They're like, yeah, let her rip, just go. That's what the appeal
it looks
is.
like, can I say vagine on the air? They're like, yeah.
You're the one who's going to get us sitting in the HR, not me. In any event, dude, we are super lucky and super grateful. And I think, my hunch is, the people out there, I think they recognize what we're trying to do, and they seem to appreciate it. So thanks to you guys, man, because Showtime, they read what the things y'all say, and they are loving that you guys seem to get the concept and what we're trying to go and what we're trying to do. And
should this lead to a speech about how they should subscribe? Because I think they really should.
They should. You should subscribe. Get us to 30K by 2020. I think we'll probably blow past that, given the sort of progress that we've been on.
And then what's the plan? You're topless, but with a coat over it?
Something like that. Maybe suspenders. I don't really know yet. In any event, I'm not just saying it to like, oh, shucks, thanks, audience. No, really. It makes a huge difference. I have tried to get to this spot for years, and now we're here. So it's time to build what we have, but it's going well.
Yeah, it started in the bunker. Now we're here.